Hi, everybody. Welcome back and welcome to February. Indeed, starting off the second month on this Wednesday, where temperatures pretty much on par for where they should be, close to it at least. We're going to see that cold air stick around through at least, I think, the end of the work week, and then we'll start to recover for your weekend and thereafter. Low 60s still in store next Tuesday. We're not out of the woods yet. Winter's still very much alive and with time. That's in just a few moments, and a lot of other exclusive news and information. A pain management physician, specifically Dr. Robert Windsor, has agreed to pay $20 million in a judgment that will settle allegations that he violated the False Claims Act by billing federal health care programs for surgical monitoring services that he did not perform and for medically unnecessary diagnostic tests. Dr. Windsor owned pain management clinics in the state of Kentucky and Georgia, and he operated them under the umbrella of National Pain Care. He had clinics in several cities in Kentucky: Hazard, London, Somerset, Lexington, Pikeville, and even in Prestonsburg as well. So very well known throughout the eastern and central Kentucky area. As far as the lawsuit is concerned, the government alleges that Windsor engaged in two separate schemes. First, the government says that he caused the submission of false claims to Medicare and TRICARE and FEHBP for the online real-time intraoperative monitoring of surgeries that he didn't personally monitor and that weren't monitored by any physician, and that Windsor also falsely represented that they had been monitored by him during the period of January of 2008 all the way through July of 2013. Dr. Windsor was sentenced to 3 years this past October and 2 months in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release in connection with that conduct. And the government also alleges that he submitted or caused the submission of false claims to Medicare, the Georgia and Kentucky Medicaid programs, TRICARE, and FEHBP for medically unnecessary balance test, nerve conduction, and other procedures and qualitative drug screens performed in Georgia and Kentucky during June of 2010 through June of 2014. So in order to satisfy this $20 million judgment, he has agreed to sell all but one of his residential and commercial properties and then pay the net sale proceeds to the government. He also has to sell a lot of other assets as well, including boats, jet skis, and then pay the net sale proceeds to the government as well. Also in the news tonight, we'll take you to the meeting last night for the discussion that centered around the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center and its future just as a structure. Some pretty stunning developments as they've been focusing on some refurbishing, if you will. Now it's gone much deeper than that. We'll also have an update on two former Magoffin County school employees who were to stand jury trial earlier today, and the latest whereabouts of two Magoffin County men, one an elected official, as to where they have been incarcerated in federal prison. We'll have that and many other details on some other stories right after this.
To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
Starting off local headlines this Wednesday, two former Magoffin County school employees, one a carpentry teacher, one a custodian, were to stand trial before a jury this morning in Magoffin County Court, but instead have reached a plea agreement with local prosecutors for a probated sentence.
Daryl Peters and Wendell King were arrested back last May after Kentucky State Police and Salyersville City Police officers responded to a complaint of a party at a residence in Salyersville, a party that was posted, at least a portion of which, on Facebook. They discovered the two adults and a third at the home of Wendell King, where they arrested King and teacher Daryl Peters, along with that third individual. Police said in their initial reports, when they arrived, they saw several empty beer cans and liquor bottles. They also heard teenager in the house, a girl, yell, "Hide this stuff," because the police were there, and that they also saw one teenager hide a bottle of what was identified as Crown Royal in a cabinet before they made entry into the residence. In all, they say that once they got inside, they found 5 juveniles from 14 to 19 years old that tested positive for alcohol, and that 2 of those were so severely under the influence of alcohol they had to be taken to the emergency room, and that 1 was unresponsive. King was found passed out naked in a bedroom, while the other 2 adults were arrested as well and charged with unlawful transaction with a minor. All 3 adults charged with 5 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor. Both the men were fired from their positions at the Montgomery County school system soon thereafter and entered not guilty pleas in court. They were to stand after these months' jury trial earlier today. However, we have court records in front of us that say that they averted that jury trial after a plea agreement was reached with prosecutors. There are 5 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor, which were Class A misdemeanors, were reduced to Class B misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct. And therefore, those charges resulted in a sentence of 10 days to be probated for a period of 1 year. And they also were ordered to pay court costs in the amount of $143 within 30 days. So once again, they received a 10-day sentence, which was probated for the period of the next year. The third adult, Leah Van Hoos's case, is still up for review in the coming days. She still faces the original 5 counts of unlawful transaction with a minor.
In a follow-up, as I told you on Monday's program, which was also the same day that Magistrate Gary Rooster Reisner and Larry Shepard were to report to federal prison, that the Federal Bureau of Prisons database at that time had only confirmed that they were to be inmates and nothing more. It wasn't until last evening that that database was updated to confirm that both men were incarcerated as of Monday and to what facilities they will be spending the next couple of years. Magistrate Gary Rooster Reisner, I refer to him as magistrate because we have no record of any official resignation or removal from that position. He's spending his 3rd day of around 850 in federal custody today. He was issued an inmate number on Monday after turning himself into authorities on the same day of this week. He has been remanded to the Morgantown Federal Correctional Institute, a minimum security federal prison that houses 842 inmates currently in the northern part of West Virginia, located about 280 miles from Salyersville, a traveling distance of about 4.5 hours. The Federal Bureau of Prisons website has no specific release date listed as of yet, but per federal sentencing guidelines, Reisner must spend at least 85% or approximately 28 of the 33 months to which he was sentenced in prison. That equates to about 2 years and 4 months. On the same day of this week, Monday, Larry Shepard of the Montgomery County Court Clerk's Office surrendered himself to federal authorities in Boyd County, Kentucky. Now being housed at the Ashland Federal Correctional Institute, which houses about 1,276 inmates, considered to be a low-security federal prison about 75 miles or an hour and a half from Salyersville. In his case, too, no release date has been officially given by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, but he, too, must serve at least 85% of his sentence, which equates to about 25.5 of the 30 months, or about 2 years and 1 month to which he has been ordered to serve. Adding to the details that I had for you at this time last evening, I now take you to yesterday's special session of the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center's Jail Authority Board. The sole item on yesterday's special agenda was the hiring of structural engineers to deliver or develop plans to repair a deteriorating foundation that's been discovered under at least a portion of the jail. They were investigating a plumbing problem or issue and then found a larger one. And this is on top of the past 2 years closely monitoring walls that have separated and cracks that have developed and gotten bigger in floors and in walls as well. But they determined just recently that the earth is just gone to the depth of a foot or so beneath a concrete floor that was measured at only about 2.5 inches in thickness. They also discussed the possible causes for the earth being gone or sinking in this particular area. And right now, per their meeting, which is still preliminary, their best case scenario appears to be a $200,000 fix, while their worst case scenario is much, much worse.
For much of the detail into the situation and scenario, they turned to their maintenance personnel, Jennings Williams, who, along with other employees, were inspecting what was a leaky pipe. The sole item on the special agenda was to discuss the hiring of a structural engineer to develop plans to repair a deteriorating foundation of the facility. Recently, while investigating cracks in floors and walls that have continually worsened over the past 2 years, they found and discovered that the earth had sunk below the floor over 1 foot in depth, and that concrete floor had a structural thickness of only 2.5 inches.
In my opinion, something needs to be done with it. It seems like they just keep getting bigger and bigger, the cracks in the floors and in the walls. I don't know how long it's going to keep going the way it's going, but it's going to stop somewhere.
What type of repairs are you thinking are going to be involved?
It's going to be major repairs. We had a structural engineer type firm come out and look at it. And he says that he could help us. He couldn't put it back to where it was, but he could stop it from moving any farther.
And the first thing I did, I called Keiko, our insurance carrier, and asked them to come out and evaluate it and see if it would qualify for insurance coverage. And after the inspection, I met with the inspector, myself and Slee, and he told us that it would not be covered, that it was a foundation deficiency and it was not covered in our policy. But we were concerned about the cracks at that time, and he said he wasn't here to talk about that, but all he could talk about was whether it was covered or not. That was a question that was posed to him by Keiko. So then I contacted a company in West Virginia. It's got a civil engineer that works for them. They come out and looked at it, and that's what Slick was referring to.
Yeah.
And they looked it over and said the best plan would be to get a structural engineer to evaluate everything, give the board options. Then they would be interested in bidding on it, open it up to bids for repair. But they're filled with a civil engineer, so a little bit different. Plus they didn't want to develop a plan and then try to bid on it too, so they said it'd be best to get an independent engineer who specializes in structural deficiencies, and he would develop options for us, recommendations.
Is this affecting the housing?
I can see it in the future, yes.
I mean, like right now, you've not had to clear
Right
out any
now, I
sales.
haven't cleared out any sales. The area affected the worst is the back end of the jail, the one closest to the creek. And there we have a structural wall that's falling, it's leaning, since time, well, you've been there 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
It's moved
It just
significantly.
keeps on moving. I've noticed it getting bigger.
So how long has this been going on, you think?
For sure 2 years. I've been here for 2 years, and it's been going on that long.
If I recall, didn't Randy Madden do some repairs back there? Is there any evidence of previous repairs or attempted repairs?
No, none other than caulking,
The crack.
maybe some patching in the floors. When I had cut that floor out with the saw, when I made that last cut, that concrete fell almost 13 inches. It should have stayed right there,
Should have been resting
There
on
was
the
nothing
ground.
under it, and it fell 13 inches.
Well, you
I've got
think-
pictures.
You think it's just settling on that part of the building?
There should be dirt holding up the floor.
Right.
So the building's got 3 concrete slabs. We're standing on one, there's one immediately over our heads, then there's a third one that the roof lays on. So all that weight is supposed to be bearing on the ground. Instead, it's bearing on the cement, and it's what, 2.5 inches?
Yeah, in that
It
particular
should have
place.
been about 4 inches thick, but it's about 2.5, so.
Did the company that built this building, did they use no rebar or no wiring
There
in the
was
concrete?
some wire in the concrete that I cut out of that cell.
But no rebar.
But no rebar?
No rebar, no, sir. And the concrete was 2 3/4 inch thick. not much.
Is the building sinking in, or on a swamp here, is that the deal? Is it just sinking into the ground?
The ground's sinking
Probably, yeah.
away from the floor. The slab on the ground's supposed to be on the ground.
Yeah.
So the material, the soil is subsiding, and we have this gap now between the concrete floor and the earth, foundation material.
So,
Well, now, from my understanding, we've got several buildings in this area that are showing some structural weakness. Of course, the jail, courthouse, I think some of the other local in this area, Lowe's, I think they're all showing some damage. What are the chances it might be related to some of the mining or the blasting up on the hill?
I don't know. I knew that, I was told that they done surveys before the blasting. They took pictures. There was already cracks, and then they took pictures after, and there's no claims filed.
I talked to that guy from West Virginia that came out and inspected it, and I talked to him about the blasting from when they done Walmart. And he said, you know, we don't know, it's just guesswork, but he said that might have been some of it. But then his next statement was, well, Walmart's been built a long time, and it's still moving. The building is still moving, so.
Obviously not a new situation, one they have been dealing with now for at least 2 years. They've had to go to the lengths of installing angle iron where walls once met but have separated so that they can keep inmates from passing contraband to each other. And with the gym or recreational yard closed for the past 2 months, as of right now, they see no plans of being able to reopen that to inmates. Towards the end of the meeting, those in attendance voted to contact the state building inspector, as well as the Big Sandy Ad Board and CAECO for recommendations and directions on how best to deal with the situation, as well as the original construction engineering firm of Chrisman, Miller, and Woodward. As they have great concerns at this point that indeed it may cost more to repair than to replace the facility, and that further inspection could possibly shut a portion or all of the jail down. The Big Sandy Regional Detention Center was built back in 1986, this month averaging 233 inmates, with the area that they have the most concern about at this time affecting housing of about 50.
Administrator Pete Fitzpatrick also issued an official press release earlier today, which notes some of the remarks that we've already covered, but it does add that further information will be provided at the next regularly scheduled meeting, which has been set for Tuesday the 28th. We'll have a camera there and a report to follow, and of course, should any developments happen between now and then, you can find those here as well. I'll be right back. No, I've been doing the community calendar on this program, I think since we started the program on day one over 18 years ago, and it's a great opportunity, of course, to let you all know what's going on in and around our community, as well as keeping you up to date on some special announcements like birthdays and anniversaries and the like, lost dogs as well. And I'm so glad to be able to be a part of all of that. Case in point, I've been doing this young man's birthday since he was born, and he now turns 14 today.
Yes, a sincere thank you to Michael's parents for allowing me to do this. And how cool is that? Every year since he was born, I've had his picture on. Wish I had them all right now. But nevertheless, he probably doesn't. So let me say a very happy birthday with a whole lot of love from Mom and Dad, family and friends. They love you lots. To a now 14-year-old Michael Lackey. Happy birthday to you, Michael. Happy 14th birthday, and glad to be a small part of it. Now for the rest of the calendar, brought to you by our friends at McGoffin Farm Bureau and your local agent Doug Green. Don't forget about the big chili dinner coming up Monday at the Salyersville Pentecostal Church of Christ. Chili, sandwich, crackers, a drink, all for $5. Eat with them, carry out. They'll deliver in the city limits of Salyersville. That's Monday starting at 11. The phone number's on your screen, 349-3873. And today being the 1st, you've got 8 days. That's some quick math for you. To get your order in for chocolate-covered strawberries and help support Project Graduation. This fundraiser gets you a dozen milk or white chocolate-covered strawberries for $25. Order by the 9th. Pick up on Valentine's Day. All you have to do is call Becky Allen at MCHS at 349-2011. And also dipping a few strawberries, the Mount Sinai Church of God. They've got chocolate-covered. My mouth is watering. I can't hardly talk. They've got chocolate-covered strawberries by the dozen as well. If you order yours by the 10th, You get them on Valentine's Day, too. If you want to get an order in, call Rita at 349-2835. There's $6.50 for you. You can order 3 for $6.50. You can order 6 for $12 or a dozen for $20. And help support the South McGoffin Fire Department. Get something really neat for yourself or for a great Valentine's gift. Hey, I would love something from the Pampered Chef. They're having a party at the South McGoffin Fire Department this Sunday afternoon at 3. They're giving away door prizes. They're having refreshments as well, so come and join them. Pick up something neat for yourself at South McGoffin for their Pampered Chef party. And pick up that announcement that you've got, birthday or anniversary, and get it to me. Either put it in the mail, email, Facebook, phone, fax, drop it off here at the studio. Any way you can tell me about it, I'll tell everyone else for free. And funeral service announcements this Wednesday the 1st include those in honor of 86-year-old Mollie Jackson of Salyersville. She passed away on yesterday's date, survived by a daughter, Belinda Jackson. Visitation is this evening and continues all day tomorrow and up until services. They'll begin Friday at 1, all visitation and services from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Burial will take place at the Carty Cemetery at Patton Branch. And we've also received notification tonight of the passing of 78-year-old George Wireman of Salt Lick, who passed away on yesterday's date. Arrangements are incomplete at this time. They're being made in his honor by the family and will be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. So with all of that covered and said, that leaves us with one item of business. Well, maybe two, I guess, counting a little brief closing and a clue as to what we're talking about tomorrow on the news. One of those being your Licking Valley RECC forecast, where it's not all that bad. I mean, we're still at 50 degrees right now if you're catching the early show, but we're going to fall down to 29. It's going to be slow to get there, at least for a few hours. But partly cloudy skies, a northwest wind 3 to 5 miles per hour, not near as brisk as it has been for the past few days. And for your Thursday, here's what you can expect. You can expect to see some sunshine. It's going to feel nice. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow. Temperatures climbing to about 42. Winds out of the west-northwest, maybe 3 to 5 miles per hour. Nothing too dramatic. Tomorrow night, clouds will be on the increase, but they're not making anything. They're just going to be increasing. As for your Friday, temperatures around 37 degrees, wrapping up the work week under mostly cloudy skies. Still a dry day in store, but just a lot of cloud cover expected on Friday. We'll see northwest winds maybe 3 to 5 again as well. And we'll see Friday night lows down as low as they've been for a few days, down into the upper teens at 18. And we're going to stay dry through Saturday and see the sunshine return and close to 40 degrees. Nighttime lows will improve to the upper 20s. We have a chance of some snow late Saturday night, and I'm thinking around 2 or 3 technically Sunday morning. So a dry, nice, sunny, albeit relatively normal cold day for your Saturday, right around 40, but not that bad. Snow during the overnight that will change to some rain. I think Sunday we'll see right around 44 degrees, maybe even 45 or so. So some rain and snow likely. Mainly all rain after about 11 in the morning. No major accumulating snow from this, I don't think, but you're going to know it's around, and we're definitely going to see some precipitation, and we're definitely going to see the upper 40s on Monday as well, and more sunshine. Partly sunny skies and a nice dry day for the most part. A little bit of a break in the action, but by Monday night, another round. Another weather maker gives us a chance of showers. With a low of 38, it's definitely going to be rain, and those shower chances are going to increase a complete likelihood on Tuesday of next week with temperatures right around 56. And I've got new updates right now. I had thought we were going to be in the low 60s by Tuesday. Right now, we've backed off that just a bit to right around, once again, 58 degrees. And I think maybe the low 50s on Wednesday. So maybe no 60s in store, but definitely some precipitation that will start to roll into town on Sunday.
Before I go, remember Daniel Wheeler, the last guy that I interviewed who was trekking across our great nation. He was doing so on his bicycle and broke down just as winter was really starting to gear up a few weeks ago. Well, I got an update from him today, and I'll share that and some other exclusive news and information with you when we see you back here next time, tomorrow night, for more of Your News Today. Thanks for watching.